Welcome to the Dumbfounded Dipshits podcast. If you smoke them, if you got them, I guess.
What's up, dipshits? It's another week with the Dumbfounded Dipshits. We got a few things to talk about. Some chaotic, some pretty funny.
Well,
did we get the title for the episode up?
The title for the episode is Elon finally learns to pull out.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a good one. See, I was trying to think of something with fucking Elon.
So
I was thinking about fucking calling it space scopes, smoking dopes, and shooting ropes, but
that could be next week.
That could be next week. Yeah,
that's a double. Yeah, man. It has a double meaning because he pulled out of the deal with Twitter, and he clearly doesn't pull out because he just had twins last week.
Nah.
And he also he said, "I'm doing my part in stopping depopulation or something."
Depopulation,
yeah. That's hilarious.
Damn, he had a better response than Arnold Schwarzenegger did with his fucking maid. You know.
But Arnold's maid wasn't even attractive.
Yeah, but that relationship is understandable because she like cooked his dinner. She was pretty much doing all of his wife's shit. So he figured throw her the bone, and he left one in, and you know, I mean, some you
gotta throw the dog a bone, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a
negative.
People
a little bit more further. She was a little bit more fertile than I guess his wife, and just was able to have the the kid.
A little more fertile than his wife.
I mean, he wasn't leaving loads in his wife then. I don't know. Maria Shriver. I mean, listen. Like Elon Musk, it's a good idea that he doesn't go through with it because I don't think I think when he did it, he knew there was going to be some sort of sort of churning of the waters, but I don't think he really
gives a shit. Was
perceptive enough to see that it was going to be a tidal wave after tidal wave after tidal wave, because that tide pushed him way back inland, because they fucked with him from the get-go. They didn't even make it I don't even think Twitter themselves entertained it as a possible until he chalked up the money. And he was like, listen, I have the capital to buy you right now. And it would be bad business on their parts. Like if somebody, let's just say you have, Michael Leris Incorporated, right? And somebody comes up to you and let's just say he says $10 million, I'm taking your company and the name and the rights to everything. And your company's only worth $2 million, would you be smart to not take that $10 million? Business-wise, it's a bad business move. You know what I mean?
To not take it.
To not, yeah. And they didn't because of their. I guess it's a battle of ideals now. You know what I mean?
Well, not even that. He was like, show me proof. Only 5% of the users.
Bots.
Are bots. I need proof. I'm buying this. I want to know how many real users you have. And they said, oh, we don't know.
Yeah, because you know what the estimated numbers are up to about a third of the comments on Twitter, and tweets themselves are from bots. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. How many million people are on Twitter? Do we know?
Did you watch Joe Rogan that one time where he made a tweet? And he goes, watch how quickly I get auto responses. And it's all these auto responses. Great news, or hi, I like you, and please respond to me. I'm your best friend.
Or I have a business opportunity, or crypto.
Or you just won. Click my profile and see what you won.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think... I think Facebook might have an easier time disclosing how many bots because it's already... pretty much out in the open with Facebook
to get rid of them too.
Yes, and it's already out in the open how many bots could pop up, and Facebook has talked about this, right? I notice it a lot with Instagram. Instagram is bot crazy. Well, I get solicited all the fucking time for most of it's crypto, but you do get your hey baby, like DM me for pics or whatever. You know what I mean? Like the Insta hookers, you know what I mean? The bot hookers, the hooker bots,
hooker bots.
Yeah, because they're like, hey baby, they're like fucking, they're pretty much strutting the internet streets, asking for Johns to pay them for sexual favors. Like it's pretty much what they're doing, but they're robots that are doing it.
Pause 1 second, guys. I have to hand my wife my credit card so she can book an Airbnb.
Adult life. Married life, really. Half of the time you're handing your credit card. Half of the time you're handing your credit card to your wife. So
I just paid it off, and it's like, here you go, max it out.
Put it back It's good for your credit score. Up and down. Like if you keep paying it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they like to see the activity. If you leave a credit card stagnant for too long, shit drops your credit score.
How many kids does Elon Musk have?
He's got like 5, right?
No.
What? 3?
No.
2?
No.
7?
No.
8? He's got 8 kids.
He's got 8 kids.
He's got an ex-wife, right?
No, it's not even about that. It's just.
Yeah. I mean, he can afford it. Dude, listen, like, everybody flips out Nick Cannon, for example. Nick Cannon's the best example. Nick Cannon's
the worst example.
No,
Nick Cannon
why? He's a deadbeat?
The worst example.
He's a deadbeat? I thought he takes care of all those kids. Doesn't he?
I don't care if he does. That man needs to get snipped immediately.
Why?
He should not be breeding. He shouldn't be breeding.
He could afford it, though.
He's racist.
Yeah, well, he's anti-Semitic. I don't think he's just blatantly racist against everybody.
No, but he's a black Israelite.
So how is he anti-Semitic?
So hold on.
Is that like an offshoot of Christianity or something?
I'll show you right now. I'll show you.
Or are you like a Jew if you're a black Israelite?
No. The black Hebrew Israelites are groups of African Americans who believe that they are the descendants of the ancient Israelites. Black Hebrew Israelites combine elements to their teaching from a wide range of sources.
Well, the thing is,
none of which have been proven.
Right. Yeah. I know what I know is about like the like during Exodus and everybody splitting up and all that shit. Like there is like, for example, in Ethiopia, they have a temple that houses the Ark of the Covenant. Like apparently the tablets are in there. And there are Jews in Africa and like by the Horn of Africa. There were Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia, the Sudan, and they made it. There are black not Israelites, black Jews, you know what I mean? And who are like, you know, still very religious and still like, and they could sort of in some weird way trace back there.
What was that?
There's a ghost. Mike, you got ghosts.
No idea.
You brought your paranormal show back home? Is that what you do? You bring ghosts home?
All the time.
Nah, something fell behind you. I saw it. Happy Whiskey Wednesdays, everybody.
Oh, it did.
This whiskey today that we're drinking, me drinking on Dumbfounded Dipshits, is in honor of the ex-Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who was recently assassinated. So I'm drinking Japanese whiskey.
By the way, that's a big deal.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck, bro?
He was pro-America, anti-China. And now they think the new guy is going to be...
There's been some tinfoil hat talk in the circles saying that this guy was a fucking Manchurian candidate. Like, he was an op. The guy who made the homemade gun. And it's a homemade gun. The guy made a homemade shotgun out of fucking household parts.
The thing that I don't understand is, if you were going to assassinate him, wouldn't you have assassinated him while he was in office?
This is the thing.
They were afraid of him being reelected?
Because that could happen there, I think, and also it's Franz Ferdinand, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was assassinated, and that assassination started World War I, essentially. He was like the Archduke of fucking Austria.
Yeah.
Right, Austria-Hungary.
I believe so.
And they killed him when he was like on parade through some, I can't remember, Vienna or somewhere. I don't know what town it was.
Technically, well, yes.
And that those events led up to it. So I'm thinking, right? Let's just say you Cracktivities is correct, Raymond. Fucking, let's just say, you know, like you wanted to spark some sort of not false flag, maybe some sort of false flag shit. And it's proximity. It's in Japan. Japan is one of our biggest allies. It is our biggest ally in Asia, period. You know what I mean? We promised to be best friends with them after we dropped 2 nukes on them like 70 years ago. And now we're there. We have a military presence there. They run drills in the is it the Sea of Japan?
South China Sea?
No, the Sea of Japan separates Japan and mainland China and Korea, I believe. The map. So I'm just saying, wouldn't it? I mean, in some sort of chain of events kind of way, you can't tell me that you can't write the novel after this and make this the prologue or chapter 1. Former Prime Minister of Japan gets assassinated, and then the Jason Bourne story just writes itself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you could see it happening and it being that. Personally, I think it's more like, because Japan has a history of, like, not Unabomber types, but I guess, like, yeah, like anti-government, you know, like, or anti-establishment government, the anti-establishment, anti-government, you know, people. They had that cult. Remember where they gassed all those people on the Japanese subway? See, sorry, that was racist. On the Japanese subway, and they killed a whole bunch of people. I was also talking about China, like, sort of invading Japan in some sort of, like, covert kind of way. Maybe it is like a Manchurian Candidate kind of thing, and he was, like, sort of Oswalded into doing it, like brainwashed, and then they fucking, you know, had this guy make a homemade gun, and he shoots the guy in broad daylight. That is sick, dude. When was the last time that happened? What, like Anwar Sadat in 1979, where they jumped up on stage and shot him? They fucking shot the shit out of Anwar Sadat. They turned Anwar Sadat into chop dude. They literally
Swiss cheese?
Yeah, dude. They all went up with AK-47s, just start blasting them point blank, and then, you know, it caused like a fucking semi-riot, like people running everywhere. I think they were all dressed as Egyptian military too, I think, also. But that was also something that they thought was going to spark war back in the late 70s and early 80s, because there was all that shit going on with Iran and the hostage crisis, and, you know, oil shit was starting to happen back then. You know what I mean? The Russians were the Soviets were in Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Iraq was at war with Iran. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of shit going on. So that some could say maybe the assassination of Anwar Sadat could have been something that could have pulled us in, because we were sort of making peace treaties with Israel and Egypt, and some parties in the Middle East didn't want that at all. So they, you know, it's easy to believe that. If you could believe as easily as 9/11 was an inside job, you can't tell me that you don't think that China could have some sort of influence in Japan.
Of course.
And having the former, yeah. So it's sad because, you know, like, I don't know Japanese politics, but the guy had a kind face, and it was just sad to see, you know, like, leaders are getting fucking taken out now. What the fuck, you know? People are ratting out Trump on fucking on Capitol Hill. You know what I mean?
What was the latest thing with that?
No, you had a couple of, like, not former Proud Boys, but some guys who were, like, red-pilled, and they testified saying that they believed that their instruction was to go and cause ruckus down by the Capitol.
Yeah, but you can't blame someone else for another idiot's decision.
Yeah, you know, it's really...
He never said to... Did he?
It's a slippery slope, and I'll tell you why. You're going to tread in one direction forever because you're going to keep throwing shit at it by saying, yes, we could say the mob mentality had the day. And you could individually, for each person who broke down the doors and killed the guard and trampled people and assaulted people and damaged public property or government property and broke the law, you could go and get them individually. But as a mob, you know, like, if it's okay, you know, like that whole, like they say, the free speech thing, you can't, you know, like, scream fire in a crowded theater. You know what I mean?
Can't say bomb in an airport.
You can't say bomb in an airport or gun or scream gun on a bus or some shit when nobody does. What's going on, Aussie? Good night, mate. So
that might have been
do they have those problems down there in Australia? Do they got those gun problems down there?
No, but everyone stabs everyone, right?
What, they throw boomerangs at each other or some shit?
They don't throw boomerangs at each other, you...
Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably the Aborigines in the outback. They do that, right? They're blowing their didgeridoos.
Wow.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. I don't make fun of Aussies because I love them. I wish I was Australian. Actually, when I was a kid, I thought, you know, because of Crocodile Dundee, I was like, wow, they, you know, like, being from New York, we talk real weird and shit, you know, and then, you know, I have, like, relatives from Ireland, and, you know, they speak a certain type of way, and I always wanted to just have an Australian accent. You know what I mean? Like
It's a
I was
very
just gonna want to look at.
interesting accent. It's very interesting.
It is, and the New Zealanders too, the Kiwis. You know what I mean? Like my grandfather at one point wanted to move to New Zealand, like when it was like sort of like a thing back in the '70s. But
Did you
yeah.
just call them Kiwis?
Well, in New Zealand, they're called Kiwis, aren't they?
I
That's
don't
that.
know.
Well, there's a native bird that's a flightless parrot that's called a Kiwi. But the people from New Zealand, the pleasant nickname would be Kiwis. You call the native people or Maoris. Those are the people with the face tattoos and the tribal face tattoos, and they do the haka.
He's not Australian.
Oh, is it Filipino? I'd say I like the Filipinos. Filipinos are cool.
My aunt is Filipino.
Damn, Mike, you are the melting pot, aren't you?
I have an aunt who's Filipino, so her children are Filipino and Italian. I have an uncle who's Japanese, so their children are Japanese and Italian. Um, I have family in England, but they're Puerto Rican. But they grew up in England. So
Puerto
they're
Rican
English.
Brits. They're Puerto Rican?
And then yeah, I have family
Anglo
everywhere.
Rican? What would you call that? Anglo Rican? Brito Rican?
What? Puerto Rican?
Yeah, instead of Puerto Rican, it's Brit.
No, I
Puerto
get
Rican.
it, but that's funny.
I'm sorry, I gotta repeat these things. My bad. I have a habit.
So,
But yeah,
LeBron
so
James
fucking-
speaks out about the girl that's in Russia. I forgot her name because I don't follow the
Yo,
NBA.
since he's got, why don't
let
he
alone-
talk to
hold
his
on.
homies in China? Why doesn't he talk to his homies in China and try to get her out? Huh?
I don't know the NBA, and I don't know.
Listen,
Definitely don't.
you know, I have sympathy for her, right? But him speaking out, okay, listen, you're gonna stop a regime, right, from detaining an American who they caught with an illegal substance, supposedly got caught with an illegal substance. I mean, personally, you know, it was coincidental. Is it coincidental or is it intentional to
No, I mean, let's be
detain
real. Hold on.
Americans?
Coincidental or intentional, it doesn't matter. Let's be real. That could have been any one of us. We travel with that all the time. I travel with that all the time. That could have been any one of us. Now, I think she was detained and arrested and now on trial because of who she is.
Yeah, and an
Not
example.
because she wasn't exactly.
Yeah. She's a woman of color. She's a lesbian. She's an American. She's a sports personality. Because she is like, I don't follow WNBA. I'm sorry. You know,
I don't think anyone does.
Not many people do. But hey, listen. From what I understand, she's sort of a big deal in the WNBA. She's not like a six.
Are you
she's not,
referring
she's
to
not
her
a
height?
six. She's not a sixth person. Well, no. What I'm saying is like she's not a bench player. She's like a player. You know, so people know who she is, and it's Listen, it was all done on purpose, obviously. You know, but speculatively, whatever. But it just looks obvious, and obviously, you know, we have people detained. They have people detained. This is all a tit for tat thing because you know, like there's this, you know, war going on in Ukraine, and we're pretty much just throwing them money, and it's all spite work. It's all spite work.
You notice how like the news with Ukraine is slowly dying down too?
Yeah, people are paying less attention because you want to know why? Because it's going to be long and drawn out, and they don't want to blow their whole load on it until something else big pops off because of it. They exhaust. Okay, what happened was they had this giant orange or lemon or whatever, grapefruit. They squeezed as much juice out of it as possible until all there's left is pulp. But they still want to go after the pulp, but they can't until the new cycle's out and until something else bigger pops off. Until there's like aerial footage of prison camps in the Ukraine that the Russians are setting up, you're not going to hear shit. If it's just them dropping bombs and sending in troops or not sending in troops, who's winning, who's not winning.
There's still civilian casualties every day.
There's civilian casualties everywhere, dude. In Yemen, there's been civilian casualties for fucking a decade.
I mean, we've been bombing people using drones forever, and half of them ended up being
all over the world. And I'm telling you, in sovereign nations. So, and the thing is, that's what we do. Listen, we're bullies. sometimes, you know what? Like, that's how the fucking cookie crumbles. I'm totally comfortable with being admittedly, in support of like, yes, they are a world superpower. The United States are, and sometimes we bully. You know what I mean? And sometimes you gotta fucking, lions gotta roar every once in a while to keep everybody in check. I know that sounds fucking arrogant, okay? I get it.
You
But the
arrogant
thing is,
fuck.
but the thing is, like, as like, you have to be in certain situations like this, because you can't be, like, turn the other cheek when you have war going on in the rest of the world. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? It's like looking at a bouncer, you know what I mean? And there's a fight going on at the bar and the bouncer's not doing shit. Even though they're the two smallest guys in the bar, they could cause a lot of fucking damage if you let them fucking go roll around the whole fucking bar. Until the fucking big ass bouncer comes and grabs him by the fucking neck and throws him out.
Russia is not a small little...
They're not. But you also can't let a big bully fucking go around and start bullying other people too. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it or advocating going to war with Russia. I would love for all this all to resolve, like somehow with diplomacy. But the thing is, it's you can't pay too much, because even still, we were at war in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and you had lulls. There was a 6-year period. I was like, we're still in Afghanistan? I'm not hearing shit. And then you go online and you look up these documentaries, you look up these footage from the war zone, and there was still fire, going on day after day after day after day. And, like, drones were dropping shit. Shit was still going around the world, but we weren't listening to it. Just think about it, right? Osama bin Laden gets taken out in 2011, right? From 2012 to 2018, you heard jack shit about Afghanistan. You heard next to nothing about Iraq, even when we were still looking for Osama bin Laden. It was like 2009 during the mortgage crisis here, the financial crisis back in 08 and 09. You didn't hear anything about.
Well, the only thing you would hear is another Marine died, or a group of Marines died, or a group of soldiers died, but you didn't hear anything like you hear in Ukraine. Like, I just looked up an article, and it basically says 2 exhausted armies are battling for eastern Ukraine.
Yeah,
Can
thanks.
either of them strike a decisive blow?
I don't think anybody. This is the thing. Let's put this into MMA terms, right? You got Khabib and one of his many cousins, right, are in a are in a fight camp. His cousin's fighting and he's training, right? He's his wrestling grappling trainer, right? He's part of the crew. He's outside the cage. On the other side, right, you have fucking Henry Cejudo, or who else is a fucking hothead who's got a big ego? Anybody but I know Cejudo trains people, right? Isn't he like training partners with a few of the other fighters?
People, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, and then they have an exchange of words, right, on the next, like fucking a reality show, and they got their 2 teams. It's like Amanda Nunes and Pena, like fucking like yelling at each other from across the cage while their fighters are fighting each other. That's sort of what the fuck is going on, because, like, even still, like, Russia's pushing their troops in. A lot of their troops are from, like, bordering territories that are just close in proxy to the Ukraine. So a lot of people, even the first insurgency, they didn't. Yes, but some of those people who were the initial insurgency had to be lied to go into the country because they thought it was a drill. You know what I mean?
That, and they said they were fighting Nazis again. They were told they were fighting Nazis again.
Yeah. But, I mean, you also have to tell people, hey, you're fighting terrorists, and then send fucking 18-year-olds to the other side of the world.
That's,
die
that's
for
the
their
problem.
country. Or quote unquote,
people
die
don't
for
realize that, we're not innocent either. But I think people realize that now. But
no shit. But the thing is, nobody is. And everybody, once you become so married to one of your ideals that you can't listen to devil's advocate, or at least to entertain the devil's advocate, you're already lost. You know what I mean? So
this is true.
Yeah, you got to be able to see the other side of it in order to make a rational decision. And some things, hey, listen, I literally watched one of the thousands of fucking 9/11 documentaries today, and it was about the high school kids in Stuyvesant. You remember the high school that's at the base of the old World Trade Center? It's the most gifted school, I think, in all of New York City that isn't an art school. I think LaGuardia is the arts high school, and this is for the sciences. Like, all the smartest kids in the fucking city go to this
It's
school.
also where like 95% of the people coming out of that school get mesothelioma.
Mesothelioma.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well no, there was a period where they had a whole bunch of students that were coming down with
It was a
fucking lung
joke
conditions.
because the buildings that collapsed, caused the
Yeah.
air to be.
And it was down there, dude. I worked down there in buildings being renovated that were covered in that shit. Dude, I worked in 90 Church Street, and there was a hole in the ceiling on the 14th floor, which is the top floor of this federal building,
Or something
that had a
fell.
hole in it because of the investigation, because a wheel from one of the airplanes fell through, and they still, because of the statute that they had to do their investigation, had to leave that area of the floor preserved, and we could not finish our completion of the project until that investigation was over. They literally started one half of the giant floor. They started one half of the giant floor, had this area cordoned off, and then built that one part once the investigation was over in like 2005. But the project for the most part was finished in 2004, and it was crazy just how like you were right there, and this place was covered in all those carcinogens and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the point is, I watched this fucking doc of the many docs, and it's not hard to understand the emotional knee-jerk reaction that a populace is going to have once somebody fucks with you. It's the whole fuck with my family thing. I can have a blowout with my dad on Monday, but if I see some guy, try to steal it, try to encroach in my dad's parking spot on Tuesday, and they're getting to a fight in the street, I'm gonna run out and beat the crap out of that guy.
It doesn't even have to be the next day. It could be 2 hours later.
2 hours later, it doesn't matter. It's like you get that collective mania that happens that everybody was guilty of, dude. Even me, and I come from a family. I was raised by Muslims. I speak Arabic, I was raised as a Muslim until I was 12.
We weren't even talking about Muslims.
Because of 9/11. My point is, I was even pulled into that
so what you're saying
America hysteria.
So you and your people were responsible for 9/11.
I mean, not my people. Not my people. I mean, not American. They weren't Americans. My family's American.
Okay, so what you're planning?
My stepfather and my family, they're all American.
You hired them, and you planned it out. Is that what you're saying?
No. I think you got to look at the White House for that. At least that's what the tinfoil hat say. No, but the point that I'm trying to make is, I was even still, I'm like, all right, this is Islamic extremist terrorists that are doing this, and that's what they knew within the first 48 hours. And I was like, fuck that shit, America, America, America. I fucking put a flag in my window right away. I was fucking all about America. I couldn't wait for baseball to come back on, as you can see, big Met fan. Mike Piazza, the first home run after going back was epic. Everybody cried and all that shit. But either way, I was affected emotionally by 9/11. But what I'm saying is, it's not hard to understand that people aren't going to be like, oh, well, so now you get Russia going into the Ukraine, and you get a lot of people who were former Ukrainians who defected back during the USSR times, who are totally in support for the Ukraine and want Russia out.
Former Russians.
Former Russians. They came here when they were Russians. They were Russians, because the Soviet Union didn't split up until 91 or 92, right? After the wall fell. Berlin Wall fell in 89, right? Or 88 or 89. And then Soviet Union dissolved in 91. And then Boris Yeltsin was the president after that.
I never realized that the Soviet Union, after World War II, Germany was split with the Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And Russia controlled one side. And
they had strong influence on all of those countries, called the Iron Curtain, all the Eastern Bloc.
Didn't America control the other side, hence the Berlin Wall?
No. NATO. That's all NATO. All those countries are NATO. So it's like France, East Germany, West Germany. You know what I mean? Fucking Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg. Who else? There's. Fuck. I mean, obviously England, you know what I mean? Fucking, But Norway, I think, is also NATO. So all those countries were, sort of allied, with each other. And then Poland, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Hungary, And then obviously, like all the other countries that were already Soviet countries, that was Eastern Bloc, so they had control over that. And they do, yes, they do still have strong influence over them, yeah. So, I mean, I think Poland does push back against the Russians from time to time, but Belarus still has a huge, they practically should be Russia. You know, like Romania still has influence, but Romania, from what I understand, is one of the most corrupt countries in the world, to where it's like an average Joe who has like $2 or $3 million could just go out there and just pay off the police department to do whatever the fuck he wants. You could just be Jack the Ripper for a week in Romania and just pay off the cops.
I mean, it's all about money. Like,
grease the palms. Yeah, it's all about money. Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, I mean, just to sort of like tie in, but also segue into another topic, Ukraine, right? Speaking about Ukraine, we know somebody who did a lot of business in Ukraine, and I guess a lot of those like leaked Hunter Biden fucking computer shit came out. There's all the videos of him going down a water slide naked, like fucking.
And it's just the stuff they want us to see.
I think he's rapping in one of them. One of them he's rapping after certain coke.
It's only the stuff they want us to see.
Yo, I think I don't know if I saw it was a picture of what I presume to look like his dad and a younger, more petite woman, and he had like swim trunks on. I don't know if it was a Photoshop thing, and if it was like, because the guy who posted it is a red pillar, so he's like, you know, like totally fucking QAnon, fucking crazy, and he posted it, and I was like, I don't know. Like, you can't always believe everything that you see on the internet, because I have a super lib friend who'll post some crazy shit that's like, that's not true. And then, you know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, oh, this person used, you know, an AR-15 to shoot up these people, but when in fact they used a handgun. And it's like, well, no, this person did not in this particular case. Yes, this person used an AR. It was a machine gun.
It was a machine gun.
Yeah, but you know, like a real machine gun is an LMG. It's like an M249 saw. It's like an M60. You know, it's like something that is automatic would be considered to be like a machine gun. You know what I mean? A rifle is a rifle.
Exactly.
But even still, you know, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. But the picture didn't look too doctored. But the thing is, we also did see some of those leaked pictures of Hunter Biden, like smoking crack and shit. So a lot of those Hunter Biden ones actually looked like the same kind of pictures that had been coming out. But I'm just going to say this. You know, nepotism is a fucking son of a bitch. That's number one. And number two, even though I have a little bit of resentment to that, like, white privilege nepotism shit, you know what I mean? Because I feel like our country should be more of a meritocracy than, you know, daddy gave me a job kind of shit. But Hunter Biden looked like he was having a good fucking time, dude. This guy was just having a ball, dude. He was just like going to fucking Ukraine, banging hookers, coming back here, smoking crack, sliding down water slides, naked, balls out, fucking, you know, just having a ball on daddy's dime. But the thing is, like, it is fucked up. Like, nobody's really looking into that as much as they should be. But that's just how it fucking goes, dude.
Are they all videos or photos?
From what old photos? I mean, old as the computer is. That computer was dumped at that place. Like, he left it at the Kinko's or something, right? Didn't he leave it at like an Office Max?
I don't know.
Like, to get serviced, or Geek Squad? He gave it to Geek Squad, and then it disappeared. That was years ago. These photos, I believe, are from 7+ years ago. Oh, he's a wreck. One of those, he's a wreck.
What? This is not what I wanted.
Well, what were you exactly looking for? What are we looking for exactly? The naked water slide? Are we allowed to show that?
What? The guy rapping?
Oh, the rapping one is fucking hilarious, dude. With Hunter Biden rapping?
No, this was some dude rapping. I'm trying to.
Oh, no. There's one with Hunter Biden's like fucked up, and he's just got the camera. The guy's obviously like a narcissist, because he just like loved fucking taking selfies before it was cool. Oh, 4chan, huh? We're going into the depths. Well, it's paid now, right? Isn't fucking...
I don't know. That's
well, anyway, Hunter Biden was having a good time in those. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, I know this sounds shallow of me, but I would just really want to see what kind of debauchery he got himself into.
Right.
I just wanted to see, like, how bad it got. I already know the corruption part of it. It's like he was, like, planted in Ukraine to run this business for these people, like a subcontracted kind of shit. And then, you know what I mean? Like,
what's up, no?
You know, so like my thing is like we already know that he was in some fucking grimy business dealings and shit like that. But in the laptop, it's all party time. I want to see the fucking the party time. I'm in it for the fucking for the tea, if you will. I want the fucking like water cooler talk at the office kind of shit and be like, Did you see what he did? Did you see what Hunter Biden did? And the thing is, nobody's getting off on this shit harder than fucking red pillers. Like, everybody who's red pilled is definitely, they're jerking off to the Hunter Biden leaks, not because it's sexually explicit, but because they want to see a Democrat leader's son totally fucking tank. It's like the reason why we want to see Nancy Pelosi get fucking...
Not that I'm a red pillar, because I'm
taken down by the SEC.
I'm saying we, because we have been talking about Hunter Biden's laptop
for a long time,
for years at this point.
Yeah, for
a couple of years.
Yeah,
and now it's slowly coming out that hey, not necessarily that there was something there, because it's none of our business what he does.
Yeah, smoke your crack on your own time. I'm not a libertarian, but some of their, you go smoke your crack. I don't give a fuck what you do behind closed doors, But yeah, but he was using like government-funded money to do that shit. Like, a lot of those things. I was
gonna say that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the United States crack. I paid for that crack. You paid for that crack. We all paid for that crack.
That is community crack. Community crack,
bro. Dude, I mean, listen. You know what? Like, he's not having a good time now because he's definitely under the microscope. More shit will come out. And right now, elections are happening. Midterm elections are starting to happen. And you're going to see a lot of seats in the House go to, like, Republicans. So you're going to have a Democrat-strong Senate, Republican-strong Congress. You're going to have a barely functioning president in office with a barely competent vice president in tail. And it's just going to be a lot of stuff is going to come out, and some there's going to be muck thrown from one side to the next. The corruption from the Republicans, and then the fucking, the corruption from the Democrats, and you're going to hear all this garbage come out in the next 2 years. Because after Congress flips, you're going to see the fucking slander on national television from every commercial, from every candidate. You're going to hear all the shit about who endorsed fucking Trump or who endorsed Biden. And it's going to make everything more divisive. And that's sort of what this, in all seriousness, all joking aside, throws more fuel into the fire, because people are focused on the sensational aspect of his, you got it, sugar. And fucking, I just really wish it didn't go down that route to where it's more polarized than we were during the middle of fucking COVID, when everybody really fucking was just trapped in their shells and hated each other from afar.
It's more polarized than when Trump was in office. I thought Trump was the one separating everyone, and this was the issue, was that kind of a personality in office. Like, I didn't think he was a bad president per se, or necessarily. I just think his presence, he wasn't presidential at all.
It stirred the pot.
Obama was a president.
Yeah,
I didn't necessarily agree with all of his policies, but he was a good leader.
Yeah, he was definitely somebody who could talk you off a ledge. Trump would, most likely, while jumping. Trying to talk you off a ledge, he'd make you jump. But listen, it's just, some would say even more polarizing than the Civil War, and I'll tell you why. Because at least during the Civil War, we were at odds over slavery and states' rights. but the North and the South were just as equally racist as each other. Just because the Northerners wanted freedom, you know, and wanted slaves to be free, and it was really not the populace, it was more the government wanted that to come to an end. The great population of the states were still probably really fucking racist against African Americans. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You know, we come from a cruel world. You're like, how did people survive 10,000 years ago? They killed and ate their neighbors, and that's what happened in the fucking winter, and it is what it is, and you're all descended from it. Whatever sperm made you rolled with down the hill, that was like some fucking cannibal in the hills somewhere in Europe or Africa or Asia, and they more than likely had to fucking kill and eat one of their kids to stay alive. And you come from that. So we're all inherently fucked. Whether or not you control your impulses is up to you. And the thing is, if you put somebody in power, they're going to abuse it, and then shit like this is going to happen. You're going to give your son a job, and he's just going to smoke all the crack.
You know what the craziest thing that people don't talk about is? His dealings with Ukraine.
That's all went away. And I think, listen, I think also the hush-hush about the Ukrainian invasion has something to do with this too. Because the more you dig, the more likely you're going to find a body. You know what I mean? And that body could lead, I mean a body metaphorically, you know what I mean? If you keep digging in the Ukraine, all this info is going to come out. Like, for example, eventually the Gulf of Tonkin, the incident that sparked the Vietnam War, was found out. Even albeit decades later, they found out that for sure we got into Vietnam because of a false flag operation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So all was in due time. We're in the internet age. 5 years into Ukraine, like, you know, let's just say we're 2027, and then some fucking linchpin gets pulled and Hunter Biden, all this shit comes out. And then let's just say there's a legacy president in there that was part of this political party, the Democrats, that put Biden in, and all this corruption is linked up, and all these people, this could send a whole political party tumbling down if there was some sort of foul play in our business dealings with fucking, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that Elon's baby name?
Yes.
Yeah.
They stay ask what's up with Elon's son's name.
But to segue into the dipshit of the week, can we get a graphic for the dipshit of the week?
Yes. Hold on.
And then after dipshit of the week, I'd like to talk about some nerd shit. But dipshit of the week.
Hold on.
Now, speaking about our political first family and the first sons being a crack smoking, hooker fucking, wild man who deals in business espionage. Dipshit of the week. Dipshit of the week this week is another Biden. Not Hunter, not Joe, but Jill Biden. For comparing Latin Americans to breakfast tacos. At a speech that she gave, I believe yesterday or the day before, in San Antonio, Texas. She was giving a description of the diversity of the Latino community in the United States of America. And she made some mention to the Bronx, and she made some mention to Miami. And I think Miami was like the flowers, like the blooms in Miami, and how beautiful like the culture is. And then when she got to San Antonio, Texas, she compared the Latino community in San Antonio to breakfast tacos and how unique they are in comparison to breakfast tacos.
The Latino community is as unique as the breakfast tacos.
I mean, I've never had a breakfast taco in San Antonio, but most people don't like to be reduced to a food item because they feel like it's, you know, reducing their value, social value. It is a flub and it is funny because the thing is, it's different if a comedian gets up on stage and calls like Irish people fucking, hey, corned beef and cabbage over here. Or you point to an Asian person and call them an egg roll or something like that.
Hey,
you know what I mean? It's an insult. But if you're the first lady and you're trying to give an uplifting speech, calling a whole bunch of people who are probably from like a heritage that is, you know, like Latin American, you know what I mean? And calling them tacos is pretty fucked up. I mean, I'm gonna chalk it up to her.
I am Amenites,
Commercials.
goddess of the apartments at Piazza Alta.
That's because sugar.
Hold on.
I think the breakfast taco is a uniquely American thing. Like the Chinese food we get here isn't real Chinese food. Your beef and broccoli is American as apple pie.
Now.
But yeah, breakfast tacos are just something that was served at a Del Taco in California, and some surfer dude was like, "Whoa, eggs on a taco." Although I have had breakfast tacos in Mexico.
I was in San Diego. There was plenty of breakfast tacos.
Diversity.
Yeah, it's SoCal. That's a SoCal thing.
As distinct as the Bogotas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami.
Could you pause it? Could you pause it? Say it with me now. If anybody's a fan of Dave Chappelle out there and has watched Half Baked, say it with me now. Not Bogota, it's Bodega.
Wait, that's what she was trying to say?
She said Bogota.
No.
The Bogotas of the Bronx.
No.
She said she was reading off the teleprompter.
Hold on.
Of this community, as distinct as the Bogotas of the...
Oh, you caught it. I didn't catch that.
No, dude, I'm telling you, everybody's pissed off about breakfast tacos. I'm personally slighted by Bogota.
No name.
Yeah, my bass player, no name. My bass player is Colombian, and he says that Latin shit is bullshit. He goes, "Don't ever call me that." He said straight up. I was like, and he's OTB. He's from Colombia, not born here. Does not want to have anything to do with that Latin shit. So I have to respect this.
As beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio.
And she got booed a little bit. Everybody was like,
I don't think it was that bad, though.
No, that Bogota shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
I cannot be a self-respecting Mets fan from New York City and pronounce that. I know she's from Delaware or whatever, or she's like a DC hua who's like his fourth wife or some shit. I don't know.
Whore, wow.
I don't know the first lady from the next fucking glory hole in the wall. Okay, so my point is bodega. Say it with me, Mike.
Yes, bodega.
Bodega.
They don't really sell much. They have
They have a cat.
They have roll-ups. They have a cat.
They have a cat.
They have
Everyone
sometimes
has a cat.
bottled water and some not weird brands, but brands you never see anywhere else.
Yo, dude, I legit watched a bodega cat in my old neighborhood in Bensonhurst backflip catch a sparrow in midair, bro, and just chill as all fuck. This cat wasn't the most athletic cat. Had like a mother cat's belly sort of hanging a little bit, but fucking backflipped, loose skin and all, caught this bird in mid-flight. And just slow strutted back into the bodega, and brought the brought the bird back into the there was like a little the bodega sort of bottlenecked into like a storage closet in the back, and he just walked into the storage closet with it like nothing. Didn't run, you know how like a cat would. If a cat caught a predator, they would sort of prance away. This motherfucker backflipped. So, dipshit of the week. She can't even say bodega right.
Nope.
Jill Biden.
Yep.
Yeah. So. In the news also, I guess, we got a new telescope, Mike.
What happened now?
Now, the James Webb Telescope, they launched this thing a while back, and it is more, it's more powerful than the Hubble and all the other space telescopes they've had.
We're going to watch videos from it next episode.
Yeah, it's clear as fuck. Dude, with
next
the Hubble
episode for sure.
And the other telescopes, yeah, we should do a deep dive into that. But with the Hubble telescope, they were able to see pretty deep into space. They could see Uranus. But with the James Webb telescope, they could see deep into Uranus now. They're calling it the space colonoscopy.
The space colonoscopy.
No, but for real, they're seeing
that's the
billions
name
of years.
of the next episode. Is the
space colonoscopy.
I gotta write that down.
The space. I'll text it to you. So the space colonoscope. Yeah, but they're seeing fucking billions of years into our past, bro. They're seeing 13.7 billion years ago is probably the oldest object that they can see.
What was the name of the episode?
Oh, the name of the episode that I
Space.
wanted was Space Scopes, Smoking Dopes, and Shooting Ropes, but with apostrophe after smoking and shooting.
Oh, you guys send that to me later on.
Yeah,
Me that
all right.
later.
I'll repeat it again.
No name. We will get into that next episode.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this.
Oh
one
yeah,
up.
we'll talk about moon landings and
Yes.
shit too. Yeah, all space orientated. Everything
we
will
go
be
live
space.
every Wednesday at 9 o'clock, 9:10 to be exact.
Eastern time.
Yeah. Thank you for watching the Dumbfounded Dipshits. We will catch you next time. And
Yeah, thanks for watching, dipshits.
yeah. And I can't wait for next episode where we look through telescopes to look deep in Uranuses.
We're gonna look deep into Uranus.